Hello, I just wanted to say a few words on the subject of Satanism. Um, as anybody who's followed my channel will know, that I was a Satanist for about 5 years, and I consider myself to be a diabolist um, and a witch, and in many ways a Thelemite, actually. Now, but I mean, thinking about things, I have to say, if you've ever been a Satanist, I mean, really been a Satanist, um, there's a part of you which always is a Satanist. Um, it changes you in a certain way, and I think that's a very important thing. It's a very difficult subject to talk about now, because it feels to me like there is so much counterfeit Satanism uh, around, and so much which is all surface. I think it's a general characteristic of our times with the effects of the internet and social media and things like this. But there's an awful lot which seems to be extremely simply cartoonish and silly. However, I do believe that for those who can feel called by actual Satanism, um, it is in itself, I believe, one of the few open calls to a form of initiation. Um, and I think that makes it, in essence, if less and less in name nowadays, a very important thing. I found, and this is going back a long way really, but I found that over the years, more and more, it comes through to you that Congress with spirits is basically it. It's the crux of magic, as far as I could see. It's its wellspring, um, and it's the wellspring of a great deal of spirituality in one form or another. What I would like people to understand is that worship of the devil under the name of Satan or under other names is not simply a sociological fad. It's not just um, a kind of a teenage rebellion or a later stage rebellion. Yeah, no matter how antinomian some of its aspects are. Worship of the devil is a genuine phenomenon with a genuine personage that we term the devil, and we've termed many different things: Lucifer, Satan, sometimes called Pan to some people, Hern, I believe. Different names, different names. He's the Dark Hunter. He's the Lord of the Underworld. But he is also the devil. And what I would like people to understand is that devil worship is not something that people have simply constructed. It's a matter of communication from the actual spirits themselves. And that I believe this has always occurred. It's still occurring. I know people that it's occurred to. And many people I know who have felt called by him have been called by him under one guise or another, since they were children. And I would include myself in that. In my case, under the form of Pan. Now, there is all sorts of, or has been, all sorts of tiresome obsessions about, well, who exactly is this figure? Who, in terms of, academic provenance, things that we can pin down. And look, I very much appreciate people doing research. I think it's fantastic. But this figure cannot be pinned down. And the more people, this is going back decades now, the more people switch from their sense of, for instance, the horned god to their sense of, oh, he's this figure, he's that figure, with this historical and cultural background, and that's what he is. I believe they lost him. He's the god of the witches. He chooses his witches as he will. And this is a very genuine incursion into our reality. And it is not a rational phenomenon. It does not follow the analytical guidelines of our kinds of analysis and categorization, which we so desperately use to try and make things acceptable. This is not something which will ever be acceptable, and it should not be acceptable. That's not what it's about, not to the rational mind in that way. But he's certainly acceptable to our hearts. He's beloved of our hearts if you feel called to him. He's beloved of our hearts, and we respond to him, and we belong to him. And that, for me, is the essence of it. My dog is continuing to kick the camera, which is why it's moving. But that's my essential message here. I call myself a diabolist because it is the best term that I have to describe what I am. But also I could simply say that I am a witch, and that, I believe, is the truth of the matter also. I'm a witch. I belong to the devil. I am his. And in that sense, of course, some things just don't change. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will see you soon.